Welcome in, everybody. It's the Real Spiel live show with your host, Roman Kelly, and my co-host, Trevor Kelsey. We're coming to you live directly following this Louisville basketball victory against the Syracuse Orange. Trevor, Louisville goes up to Syracuse and gets the job done on the road. There's a lot to talk about. A great Cardinal performance. Louisville wins 85-61. Trevor, a comfortable conference road victory.
It's been a while, and no disrespect to my man Pageant and Mac's first year, but I mean it's been since probably Pacino era that I felt like we was going on the road, handle business against a team that's not a tournament team. I mean Syracuse. So this game was over with 13 minutes. 13-minute mark. Syracuse just looked bow beaten and just Louisville at one point was just toying with them offensively for about 4 or 5 straight possessions. And that's because Louisville went in there, they punched them in the mouth, they popped the dome and took the air out of there right away. I mean, Syracuse players looked and Louisville did what Louisville's done since pretty much Kentucky game and over this 7-game streak. And for the third time since that, Virginia and Florida State have gone on the road, disrespected them, but inferior teams, and have handled the business, and not only handled their business, but handled it with confidence and just not toying with them, just taking them out, giving them no hope, no chance of getting out of Shawshank. There's no parole coming, and that's what they do, and that's what a good team does. For a while, some people say it. I love it. I'm so happy to say it again, but that's what they did against Syracuse again, and it's beautiful to have it back. I know, I think I heard you say something, or Mike said something today on your old show. At some point we got to be like, are we past the? I don't know. I mean, maybe tournament time, possibly. I'll have that feeling again, but it still feels good to say. It feels good to have that feeling back. That Louisville went into this type of situation and just handled their business.
Yeah, we went up there, and Trevor, you say within the first 13 minutes. I'll go on to say within the first 3 possessions of the game, you could just tell that Syracuse was lifeless.
Yeah,
they looked like they didn't want to be there. The fans were not helping them out at all. It sounded silent in there. That was like Mike. I texted Mike pretty much as soon as the game started, and I was like, dude, it sounds silent in there. And he was like, it's like the quietest I've heard a Louisville Syracuse game be up there in a long time. So
the text messages between what you send Mike and what I send Mike during games would be great. You sent them that. I think in the first 3 minutes of the game, my text, not without reading it verbatim, was basically Eddie Lampkin Jr. is in college what Kendrick Perkins was in the pros. Up space. Like, there's nothing he contributes to the game.
I love that you brought this up.
Because that's what he was like. And I can't say
extremely
Perkins in college because he didn't play college ball. But that's how useless he was, and he was literally useless. And I liked Lampkin at one point in Houston. I don't know what has happened to him over his years coming to Colorado and throughout his career, but he just looks like a guy that was just out there just like, if I'm not 7 feet, I'm not even playing college basketball. Like, I'm here because I'm 7 feet tall.
Big,
and it gives me
tall, dumb, goofy for no reason. He's big. They call him a big, tall, dumb, goofy. And then there's another word that follows that I'm probably not going to use. And right now, I get it's YouTube and I'm allowed to use any words I want. But I had a couple vulgar tweets typed out about Eddie Lampkin Jr. revolving around some words that at another time I would have gladly tweeted. But I now have a following on Twitter that isn't used to seeing those kind of words from media personalities. It feels weird to call myself that. But Eddie Lampkin Jr., big, tall, dumb, goofy. Big, tall, dumb, goofy, good for nothing. He's just out there. He's just out there big and tall and dumb. He's just big, tall, and dumb. That's all he is. That's all he was able to offer, just being big, tall, and dumb. Just a complete idiot. What are you doing trying to stare down Chucky when you're down 20? You're acting like you just blocked the shot. It was clearly a lob. Because you let your man slip the screen. He was about to dunk it on your head if you didn't get that deflection out of there. But just just out there acting like his team's up 2, when you're down 20 on your home floor. I don't like that. I hate when big guys out there you can tell that they're just the only thing that they're offering on the court is due to their size. He just throws it up there. Trevor, he takes one power dribble in and tosses the ball up there and tells himself he's going to try to get the rebound if he misses. It's just terrible. He's like a big, fat, dumb robot. Eddie Lampkin Jr., what an idiot.
It'd be nice to robot.
But
I'm assuming he's not getting invited to the next show. I don't know what's worse, your rant about him, me actually literally comparing him to Kendrick Perkins. Either one, I don't know what was meaner.
That's too much. You're giving him too much respect comparing him to Kendrick Perkins. Way too much respect there.
But in the middle of your hatred of poor Eddie Lampkin Jr. there and the sacrificing of his life, you did say something that piqued my attention, and that was not just the 13-minute mark in the second half. I thought that was the point where Syracuse themselves realized the lights were out. This game is over. Cue up Slick from WWE days, who now is a preacher here in Louisville. Cue up the lights. The party's over. Send it home, Don Meredith. But you're right. When it was 8-4, the 8-4 mark was I almost want. I don't know why I did because I'm a chicken shit, but I almost wanted to go live DraftKings Live. Maybe they'll give us a sponsor for me saying this, and put money on it because it was 8-4 early, and right away at that point, I just felt like Tom Hanks in a League of Their Own. I was like, we're gonna win. I'm like, I don't know. Like, Gina Davis just walked in with the catcher's mask. I was like,
within those first few possessions.
Yes, I don't know. I just had a feeling, and unfortunately, I'm too scared to bet my own feelings, but I was right on that one. And I don't know. I said I was a little worried about Syracuse because just going on the road, I'm always going to be worried because I'm that just type of person. But Louisville, again, as I said a few minutes ago, for the third straight time, has now gone team and included in that a team in Pittsburgh who is not inferior, who is a tournament team, and has handled business and has looked good doing it. I mean, in this 7-game stretch, with the exception of, I think the exception of the EKU game, or no, exception of the Florida State game, Louisville's held opponents under 44% shooting, including today, Syracuse winning 4%. It wasn't won on offense. This game was won defensively. Louisville looked like the 2000 Ravens out there. Shout out to Rashid. That Louisville defensively, was not horrible as usual, but wasn't, the sharpest at one point, other than Chucky really carrying us in the first half. Louisville offensively wasn't playing perfect, but defensively, Syracuse had no answer and looked just befuddled and befuddled the entire game at one until Louisville just kind of let them have a few things. There was at the 2-minute mark in the second half, Hadley did a play where he went diving after the ball and threw it up, and he got bounced back and he caught it back, coming right back in. That one play right there, Louisville showed more fight and savvy than Syracuse did the whole game.
Yeah.
And that was the thing is, Louisville took advantage of it. Syracuse was obviously not in their right mindset going into this game for whatever reason, and Louisville took them out of their misery. They put the sword to the back of their neck and ended them like a soldier's death.
Yeah, for sure.
Give them a nice clean death.
For sure. You're totally right.
Now, is that going to be Buddy or is that going to be Chucky now that I just saw on the screen a minute ago?
I don't know. We're going to have to figure it out. I'm going to have to talk to the girl. If he ends up staying down at the Roman headquarters, it might have to get changed to Chucky. But how responsive he is to Buddy and it not being my foster dog, I don't know. I don't want to alter anything until we know where his future lies and stuff. I don't want to confuse him.
This is the part where you need to start them learning their names as a puppy.
You're right.
You got to tell him his name, repeat it to him as you're petting him. Say his name to him.
Chucky.
That's how you get him to teach him. You got to do it. If that dog's not going to be yours, it's going to be mine. So we might as well start learning it, teaching it properly.
You're right. We're gonna have to get them together.
Right now, hand to God from someone who is an atheist. His name's going to be Chucky. I tweeted it earlier this season, Roman. Go look it up. I tweeted if Chucky Hepburn is getting to be the point. I think it was during the Bahama trip that I was like, I might buy a dog just to name him Chucky. That's how much I'm loving this player already. That you can't tell me that the script isn't written any better. You get a dog come to you. It's a puppy. It's perfect. It'll get neutered for free, hopefully. Then you debate on it's 26, and it's like his first
24 points,
3
7
threes.
assists.
I mean, look. I mean,
6
look,
for
just
10 from 3.
perfect out.
He
I mean,
did
come
pretty much
on. What else
perfect
do you
out there.
need?
You're right.
I mean,
Talk to me
again,
more about this.
offensively, he carried this team offensively
Talk to me more about this
in the
Chucky
first half.
Hepburn performance, Trevor. Talk to me more about this Chucky Hepburn performance. 6 for 10 from 3. He was all over the place. He did no steals, but still just a complete pest defensively every time the ball handler's in front of him. Terrence Edwards, I thought, defended extremely well today.
Yeah, I mean,
in his time out there.
Well. I think everybody played well. I mean, poor JJ Starling is a good guard. I mean, he's a solid player, but I mean, Hepburn Chucky was just his worst nightmare. I mean, it was. I don't think it's been haunted since someone named Chucky since the movie in the 1988.
JJ Starling.
JJ
Starling goes 1 for 7 from the field, finishes with 4 points. Chucky Hepburn shut him down.
On the
Chucky cut his water off.
There was a look there was a look when JJ was on the bench with about the minute or so of the game. It summed up the whole game. I mean, he had no clean looks the entire night. I mean, the only reason they had a little bit of life in the first half was they hit some nice threes.
Chris
Bell
got
open a couple
4 for
times.
7 from 3.
That was it. That again, this was just a clean execution, and it was handling business. It was going in, going out. We're done, wiping our hands off, and now it's you go home, you host Virginia. I mean, Virginia and SMU, your next two opponents. You play tomorrow night as well. SMU game, Virginia, I have no fear for. My confidence level is at a 10. It might be even 11 if Spinal Tap is hosting it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no worry about Virginia. SMU, I worried a little bit because it's on the road, but I don't think I should. Listen, I know it just beat Syracuse, 18-win team at best, but the way this team has played the last 6 games, I mean, there's no reason why you just shouldn't be going Louisville fan. I mean, there is absolutely no reason why not. And with every game, with every inch, it gets longer. And you have to be thinking this team is not only just maybe the second best team in the ACC, but fuck it, let's bring on Duke again. Give me another shot at that team, and let's see if the. I mean, I'm spoonful of.
I am as well. You're totally right. This is not a team that we should have.
Jig right now.
What'd you say? You broke out a little bit there. I didn't hear that.
I said dance an Irish jig right now.
We might need an Irish jig. Come on, Trev. Let's see it.
I'll be like Michael Flatley, the Lord of the Dance over here, dude, just doing the river dance. You have no idea.
Trevor, you're completely right, though, in my opinion. I don't know what that is. You're going to have to send me a clip of that. But you're completely right. We go up to Syracuse, and it's just a complete execution on both sides of the ball, and you're completely right. It did start defensively. You take out this Louisville coaching staff has a great ability of getting a defensive game plan, understanding how they want to go about minimizing the other team's best players' best attributes, and they do it well. And they've done it well for about the last 6 games now. I feel like the other team's best player hasn't had a comfortable game offensively against us, and it's everywhere. You the Lampkin, the Davis kid. Every time the ball gets into the inside the perimeter for Syracuse, we made it tough. We put a body on them, and we made them work for every single shot that they took, and they just didn't have enough for us. They just really, really didn't have enough. Chucky offensively, just, when he knows he wants to take the jump shots and he feels like it's a moment in the offense where he can step into a shot and feel confident, he's an elite shooter. I think sometimes he kind of alligator arms a lot of his jumpers. He knows he has a tight window and he tries to get it out, get it up not as quick as he can, but quicker than his shot form needs, right? He needs slightly more time than those quick ones, but he's just 7 assists, completely controlling the offense. James Scott, active as can be, 10 points, 8 rebounds. Javon Hadley, 13 points, 10 rebounds. He has, you look at the box score and you're like, Javon Hadley only had 13 points. I felt like every time he shot the ball, it was going in. And it's just this team is really getting to a point of where we're a well-oiled machine. The offense is very cohesive. Terrence Edwards Jr., Chucky Hepburn, they're becoming great playmakers. They're understanding where the ball needs to move, and they're just really understanding what Pat Kelsey's asking for them. The defensive understanding of what the defensive coordinator is asking for them is just it's top notch right now, Trevor. And I'm feeling really good about pretty much everybody on the schedule we've got going forward. I'm not really worried about any team. I was worried that it's like, because Syracuse, they've had some games this year where they've looked super scrappy and they've looked a little better defensively than we saw tonight. So I thought the amount of size and physicality that I thought they were going to have was going to be something potentially not going to hurt us, but was going to make this game potentially ugly and rough for us on the interior. And it really didn't. It felt like we were getting whatever we wanted in the paint all game long.
I mean, they're not a probably tournament team. They're not a shitty team. I mean, they are a team that, like I said, it's probably going to, I mean, they won 20 games last year. I know it's kind of a new roster, a little bit flipped over somewhat. They had some new pieces, including the freshman that we didn't see today, Freeman, that did him, that he's been out since the Florida State game with them. But
one of their better interior.
I mean, there's still a team that's probably going to win. Yeah, I mean, he had his best game against Florida State, which was the last one since he's played this season. I think he dropped like 18 on them. But other than that, this is a team that's going to win 18 games, maybe. I mean, probably at best 16 and 18, maybe 20 again, possibly at best. And they're probably not going to make the tournament. So, I mean, but that team, they're not a shitty team. They're not Louisville last year, okay? They're not that. They're not like that. And so to go for Louisville to make them look kind of like that, and the way Louisville played, dominant as they were, especially defensively. You mentioned, I mean, the way this team is just for a team that is nothing but guys that just all met each other, less than a year ago, and are now playing together all for the first time, with the exception of Rain and Scott. They just seem to gel and have really started to gel more and more each game, especially defensively. When you watch pitching off, I mean, when you have the 5 guys was going to go small, was one big guy, whether it be Waterman or Scott, or even the kid. I'm never going to remember his 3 names. Poor kid.
Kanai Roos.
Yeah, I swear, kid. Roos as well. I mean, they can rotate that 5 position and go small with Hadley, especially at the 4. He's only 6'6". But I mean, because they can switch everything so well and they do so good job defensively. And there was one possession where they did such a great job, switching on screens, and in the end, Syracuse ended up hitting a 3 from the corner. But it was a shot that was one of those ones where, mild high school coach would have said, if that guy hits the shot and you played as well as defense you can, and you can just look at him and say, good shot. I mean, and that's what it was. And it was just one of those possessions but still they rotated so well, and they've done it, especially since Scott's kind of got his head more in the game this last 5 or 6 games. It doesn't matter the position. I mean, even if Rain Smith's out there, I mean, the kid is kind of like, I don't know how much you remember. This might be before your time a little bit too much, but he's got like that BJ Flynn attitude out there, because you got to compare white to white, right? So he's got that BJ Flynn attitude out there. A lot better game than BJ, God love him. But that kind of energy and that motor and just that attitude, like, I'm 6'2", I don't give a fuck. You're Eddie Lampkin. I'm still gonna try to muscle up and block you. And that's just the bulldog attitude and the savvy that this team is playing with defensively right now. It's just got me so excited because I am a defensive guy through and through to my heart. I love good defense. That's why I was so happy over the Patino years. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate some offense, but I mean, if you ever wonder why my love for the NBA is deteriorated, it's because I love defense. What can I say? I mean, that's the defensive era of basketball, whether it was too physical for you all or not. That's what it was. And at Louisville's team right now, they don't have to play physical, Big East, hands on your hip, 2008 Patino defense right now, but they're playing it as good as you can modernly, and it's exciting for me and for Louisville fans. Should be for Louisville fans who for the last 2 years have watched this team play absolutely fucking no defense at all.
Yeah. This is a Louisville performance that we shot the ball well, 50% from the field, 42 or just under 43% from the 3-point line, 12 from 28. In my head, that feels like the best percentage game we've had from 3 so far this season, I want to say. Maybe not. But it started with defense. Everybody was locked in defensively. No one allowed their man to have anything easy tonight. And it took the life out of Syracuse immediately. And we handled business from there. Never let up, never let off the gas.
And you'll see that. I think we did the same thing to Virginia at Virginia, particularly, and you'll see hopefully the same thing when Virginia comes here. I think that's on Saturday, right? I think, or Sunday.
Saturday at 12. Yep.
Okay. Hopefully Louisville should control the game. I don't know what the line will be. I would say if it's anything under 8 points, take Louisville, because I think they will dominate the game as they should, and they have already once before against Virginia.
Yeah.
Everything's clicking right now. I mean, there might be a trap game ahead of us. Like I said, anything that's on the road, SMU, Georgia Tech, maybe. I think that obviously I've said it earlier on this show before, the possible Notre Dame road game, which is far ahead, could be a trap game. But right now, I mean, Louisville's on a 7-game win streak, which I have no doubt can just keep going all the way and through the rest of this month and maybe through some of next month. And
back-to-back road wins, Trev. Back-to-back road wins in conference. God, it feels good.
It's been, this Louisville team is, like I said, just getting better and better every game, it feels like. And it's a team that's just gelling. And you mentioned it briefly a second ago. It just made me think about it because I have, brain farts and hiccups in my head. But, the out-of-bounds plays and the play, especially out of timeouts.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never felt so confident. Pat Kelsey called a timeout when we have the ball thinking we're going to get 2 points or we're going to get a Rain Smith 3 here. I mean, I feel that. I mean, I'm almost rested at ease. I'm almost going to sit back and it's almost like the fan equivalent of doing what's the new thing now where Lamar turns around and looks up and does like this.
The no look. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I feel like I'm doing. That's how I feel when Pat Kelsey calls a timeout and we've got the ball on offense coming out because I feel like that play is just going to give me something.
We're getting a good shot.
I think the only time it backfired one time earlier in this game where he went for a loop and I think Scott just lost the ball or something. But other than that, I mean, he's been just on fire.
Yeah.
I'd love to know the Kelly Dickey to look up the statistics on what Louisville how much scoring out of timeout plays is, and that stat's got to be great.
I'd love to see those stats and where we rank against the country and those kind of things because you're completely right, Trev. The coaching, the offensive playbook that Pat Kelsey has, and it's not like they're running these intricate plays where every single player has to do this, and this, and then there's a 1, 2, and 3rd second option, and if it doesn't work out, the play's dead. There's sets with a couple of screens and a couple of players moving off the ball at the same time, and you can kind of take either route, and you have to just find the open option, keep the ball moving, and then move after you pass the ball as well. And it's one of those things that if you haven't played in it, it's going to take you some time to really understand it. But once, smart basketball players understand what's being asked of them in a system like this, you're going to generate good shots if you do those little things that are being asked of you. You got to screen well. You got to continue to move off the ball. You have to pass the ball. You can't, let the ball die in possession, start dribbling, crossovers, none of that kind of stuff. The assertiveness that we're starting to see from our main guys, Hadley, Chucky, Terrence, it's just, I feel like confident. Well, obviously, you felt confident every time Chucky had the ball from the moment they tipped off in the Bahamas. But now when Terrence has the ball, when Javon has the ball, you are just as confident in their ability to make something happen than you are Chucky's. Obviously, Chucky's a tier above, and then Terrence Edwards' ability to slash and get to the rim is a tier above as well, and Javon Hadley's stronger than the two of them. So they're all different, but you just feel good. You feel confident when all of them have the ball. When all three of them are out on the court at the same time, we're usually playing a pretty good brand of defensive basketball and turning defense into offense. And you're right, Trev. There's not a single team we've got left that I worry about. I mean, Pitt, we see Pitt again. That's going to be a hard game again, but that's on our home floor.
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about that. And then there's a couple. Notre Dame's always a long defensive team that's always got a couple of good shooters, and seeing them on the road is, there's always a chance that game can go not like you planned for it to, right? And then we've got SMU 12-4, who they haven't really beat anybody too good yet. So,
they beat the crap out of Georgia Tech on Saturday or Sunday, whatever day it was. I mean, they beat the shit out of them, and I honestly didn't see that one coming. I thought Georgia Tech had been playing a little better, even though they lost to Syracuse.
But they got handled by North Carolina, handled by Duke, and those. I'm not really worried about. They only beat Virginia by 12, but they didn't score very much against Virginia. I'm not too worried about that SMU team, but I can't sit here and act like I'm expecting us to win every single one of these games. That's a lot of games left. There's a full month of basketball.
I don't.
I want to.
No, you have a reason. There's no reason why you can't look at There's a great movie here called Big Fan with Pat Oswalt in it. You can go watch the guy that did The Wrestler, which is an even better movie. But, he's long story short, there's a great scene when he's looking at the season. He's just looking, he's going, man. It's like, I think 15-1, and of course, it sucked. But that's just kind of, you can easily look at this schedule, whether you're looking at through red Google eyes or not, and just say, that, there's Louisville isn't capable of winning out. Short of, the stress of going on the road at SMU, Georgia Tech, Pittsburgh. Pitt obviously is a home game. There's not one team on the schedule. Of tournament teams. You have 1, 2 Wake Forest, 3 Pitt. I'm being in the big ACC as is yet, but that's three maybe 3 tournament teams on your resume the rest of the way. That's it. And so you beat those teams, and you've done that once in already Pittsburgh right now. So, and you've done it again with UNC. So, there's no reason to think that Louisville, if they don't win those 3 games, shouldn't lose the other games. Call me a homer all you want, and I probably will be wrong because they probably will have a hiccup at some point. There's no reason. There's some truth to me thinking this team can win out the rest of the especially the way
it's just
they're playing right
now. I feel like you're right. Based on what I've seen these last 5 games, 6 games, and what I see with our schedule going forward, there's no reason to feel like any of these teams are definitely not better than us. But any reason?
Listen, no disrespect to AC, but we're not in the SEC, okay? Yeah, Kentucky's got their own problems. They got a nice win tonight as well against A&M. This isn't the SEC, and this isn't your typical ACC. The ACC is down. It's not a great conference. The competition in terms of being, the second best team behind Duke right now, arguably anybody, whether you're wearing a fan hood or not, is Louisville, Clemson, North Carolina, and Pittsburgh. And last I checked, Louisville beat those other 3 teams. I can't tell you what they've all done against each other, but we're 3-0 versus them. And our only loss being to Duke. Again, the timing of that loss, I can use that as a crutch all I want, and I will. But that just came at a bad timing, and the scheduling was sucked. And this team is now gelling, and that's another world. That's a whole other year, literally. That's gone. It's in the past. There's no reason to think about Louisville and Duke right now, because by the time, especially we even meet them again, which may be coming in March in this ACC tournament, we're going to be two completely different teams.
We already are a completely different team than what Duke saw that day. I'd love to see him again.
We still hung with them, I might add. And I'm saying we, I know.
We, Trev.
Give me a break.
You see the background?
Louisville still hung. Well, it's actually an Eagle ship. Louisville still hung with them.
Our show background here, though. Our show background. It's our arena for our team. We're a part of this. We're a part of this win streak right now. Yeah. Louisville basketball hasn't been like this in a long time. Roman Kelly and Trevor Kelsey are now doing a live show together. Louisville basketball succeeding. I feel like there's a correlation there. So, yes, we can say Trev. We are on a 6-game win streak. And it's just –
that streak will continue.
Yeah, it feels good. It feels really good. Trevor, is there any other points? Is there anything we haven't touched on about this game? I feel like we've touched on just about everything, all the main points from this game. Chris Bell, yeah, we did not a whole lot, but their best player. It's just funny that Chris Bell is the best player the last time they played us, and he's the best player again tonight, and there was a totally different outcome. 2 completely different outcomes. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Not exactly the game he will be remembering as most. Yeah, any of Syracuse stats all came again literally after about the 13, 14-minute mark of the second half. 5 minutes into the second half, that was when they tapped out. As I said, they tapped out, and they were just at that point. Syracuse offense was just putting up points. They were just scoring just score. It was because what's the old saying? Somebody's got to score. At some point.
I want to ask you something. Did you see anything on Twitter or during the broadcast? The Waterman family.
No, I didn't. And I feel bad for Waterman because he's like the one kind of down
Yeah.
spot in this entire run right
And
now.
he goes up to his hometown or near his hometown, the place where him and his family used to go and watch games. It's kind of like a nostalgic, like full circle moment, getting his family getting to watch him play in an arena where they used to go as a family, and then he just it's just the same old Waterman we've seen in the last few games.
Well, and you know what? Honestly, I'm starting to, and maybe I'm making an excuse for him, and maybe I'm giving him a tiny Tim over here with the crutch. But I think the thumb injury is clearly, I think, affected more. I mean, I think it was bothering him before
he grabs it on every dead ball. I think it's clearly bothering him.
Yeah, it's obviously affected his offensive game, and it sucks too because I hate it because the kid has heart.
He plays hard. He plays hard.
I want to call him a kid. I think he's good. So I don't know if I call him a kid, but
yeah, I think he's only a year younger than me.
Yeah, then y'all go to high school together. I mean, it was. So he puts out the effort, he hustles. So it sucks that he can't be as effective offensively because if he could be, and we could, I mean, I wouldn't want to take Scott off the court, and I wouldn't want to take Hudley away from the 4 position that he kind of plays in more anyway. But I mean, I'd love. I mean, if you could have Waterman being more effective with that outside shot, where you could maybe combine him in certain situations and lineups with Scott, or giving Winston Skimming a break, it would be nice. I mean, we still can do it, obviously, but I mean, right now, I mean, whether it's him or Roofs, it's just an age difference because they're really out there just kind of hustling with no offensive, nothing to really add offensively, or anything they do add offensively is just a given plus. It's just
you're not relying on them as scorers at all. No,
and it sucks because I think we could have at some point relied on Waterman because you look at what he's done before getting to Louisville and shooting the ball. And I'm not saying he was, a dead-eye shooter to begin with, but his percentages clearly were better than what they've been since he's been at Louisville. Not just clearly, but percentage-wise, but just way to watch. I mean, he misses shots in like the most like absurd ways. I mean, he looks like kind of like Philip Seymour Hoffman, and along came Paulie out there when he's sometimes shooting the ball the way it's hitting off the backboard in certain ways. And you just knew he was a better player than that. Clearly that thumb was bothering him. It bothered him tonight. You saw when he shot. He had 2 shots he missed, and he missed a layup. Other than the dunk he got, and the thumb was
obviously
like an issue.
It looked like he dunked it too hard and hurt his thumb more. But yeah, the Waterman we've seen the last 6 games is not the Waterman of the Kentucky game or the end of the EKU game, or he's not like he's played great all year. He's not even before I feel like he's been in this bad of a slump. It wasn't great before. He still had things he did well and things he did not good at all. But now it's feeling like there's not a whole lot he's doing well at all other than just playing hard. But, against Kentucky, he had 12 points, 12 rebounds. He wasn't flailing about on every loose ball and fouling. And
you not to make a white-on-white comparison, but hopefully maybe in the long run, it's cock and shoulder issue. You remember when Luke Hancock got here, he struggled shooting the ball a lot, and fans were kind of like, what the fuck, this is and a lot of it was he had a shoulder issue when he first got here that he had to work through, and as he got better, and you saw obviously as the tournament came around, the shooting was there in the end, and you saw how good of a shooter he really was and could be, and all the hype that came with him from George Mason. I'm not saying that Waterman's as good as Luke Hancock. He's a different type of player.
But yeah, I get what you mean.
He's probably not as good a shooter as he was before he got here. But I think hopefully if this thumb thing, I don't know how much injured it is, if he can heal as the season goes along, and he gets to be maybe closer to 100% better feeling when we get toward March, him being a better shooter and giving him that option offensively on a team that already just can come at you at 5-6 different directions like spider monkeys, then that's just going to be something else that's going to make me feel more and more comfortable about putting Louisville farther and farther in my tournament bracket.
You most definitely.
I never win anyway, so
you're most definitely right there. Yeah, it's just weird. Kentucky, good game. Florida State, his best game. EKU, game winner in double digits, and then he pretty much has not been good since then. Which it's just part of it. Hopefully he can get out of this funk before January ends and get back to some comfortability with his hand.
I think it's a thumb. I don't think it's a funk. I think it's just that thumb is bothering him, and it was probably bothering him long before we knew it was bothering him. I mean,
Yeah, but why are you fouling on every loose ball? I get every other one's a bad call. Usually it's been weird. Like I feel like he's been getting some bad calls, but you're coming in after a bad call with 2 fouls and then being too overly aggressive on a long rebound. You know, it's just he's got to be smarter too. He needs to be a little smarter too.
That's what he does. That's what he does, and I feel he's not getting a reputation among these refs on some of these little ticky-tack calls he's getting called for, but I mean, those are some things he needs to do, but that's what hustle plays he needs to make. He needs to make him be smarter about it. I agree. But luckily he is one of 3 guys that rotate in that position right now.
You're right. Yeah. This is where we've got the depth.
Like right now, when we lost Pryor originally, we'd be feeling like right now we're okay. Like, I mean, again, if Pryor's healthy, we don't see Roos, and we're kind of in the same situation, but maybe a little bit better offensively and defensively because Pryor's better than Roos.
The thoughts and feelings I was having about losing Pryor in case Pryor and Corin, are you losing your most versatile player, arguably your best player. I don't think he was ever going to be more valuable to us than Chucky, but he was going to be your most versatile player and probably your most utilized player offensively. And you lose him and you lose your second primary ball handler who's also going to be one of your better slashers this season. The feelings I was having was like every damn game is going to be a toss-up when you have no depth and you're a team that relies on shooting this much. And defensively, since that Oklahoma second half, I feel like defensively, obviously not since then, since after like Ole Miss and then the Duke game, they really got into like a good understanding about what needs to be done defensively. And then obviously Kentucky let up too many points, but the defensive.
It was really the EKU game.
The defensive
post EKU game, this defense lights out.
You're right.
In that 5-game stretch, because Florida State shot 50% against Louisville. They struggled a little bit getting layups to Florida State. Now, granted, Louisville's up in that game late, and a lot of that kind of has to do with the stats on that. Florida State really shouldn't have probably been at 50%, but they ended up being at 50%. The EKU shot close to 48%, I think, or 44%, which since then is the highest shooting percentage Louisville's given up to the last 5 opponents. And those opponents include, at least one good offense at UNC, and another good one in Pittsburgh, Virginia, whatever. But since then, Louisville hasn't given up for 50% shooting. Again, tonight held Syracuse to 40%, while in turn you mentioned Louisville shooting 50%. I mean, it's the first time I think since, again, said Florida State game, the Cards have shot a little bit going into this game, kind of like the Clemson one.
Yeah.
That, Louisville's bread and butter, and we mentioned this with Rashawn the other day, was that, while they haven't been shooting the ball well, they're so scrappy and getting offensive rebounds, and that they've been making up for it. And they, Syracuse is a team that doesn't give up a lot of offensive rebounds traditionally. Neither did Clemson. Louisville took advantage of that and still hit Clemson for 14 offensive rebounds.
Yep.
They didn't need it today, thankfully. They only needed it. It was there. I mean, there was at least 2 or 3 possessions where Louisville was getting, unfortunately left with 0 points, and I think both of them, but got second and third shot opportunities. And I would love to have points for it, but it's like getting half a sack. It's like, I got half a point for, at least in my mind, that is a victory that they at least got those many shot opportunities.
Yeah, that's a possession.
The game went along, they didn't need them.
The second possession that the other team didn't score. So you're right. Trev, I want to, before I brought up the Noah Waterman thing, and then we started going back into X and O stuff right after that. Did you not see the stuff about his brother on Twitter?
No, I didn't. I must not have been. I don't go on Twitter really during games a lot, Roman. I kind of, I'm an old man. I'm mostly watching the game, and I can't. If I when the game is on, I like to watch every play, and just I unfortunately didn't. I was stuck listening to Eric Diedendorf, or whatever his name is, the old Syracuse guard, struggle his way through commentary. God love him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. He has no business being on the team.
Noah Waterman's brother, Seth Waterman, is I don't want to say famous, but a well-known. Do you know what Magic the Gathering is?
I do, yes.
The card game. It's like a card game with creatures and spells and potions and stuff, but it's all on cards.
Inversions, yeah.
He's a content creator for this. And it says, like, this is all getting tweeted from people who know about this during the game. He makes content every day about Magic the Gathering. He streamed early today so he could go to this game and watch his brother play. It says here, this is a Louisville fan tweeting, another Magic the Gathering / Louisville fan here. This dude won the 2015 Magic World Championship. Noah Waterman's brother is like a well-known person in the Magic the Gathering community. Mike's tweeted at him. Mike added, so that tweet that I just read, Mike quoted that and said, he added Noah's brother and said, Seth, I'm begging you to come on the show. Seth responded and said, let's do it. So Noah Waterman's brother, Seth Waterman, is his loving older brother who's also very in tune with the Magic the Gathering community. He seems like he's damn near famous in this community. I thought that was really interesting that they've that he's got a brother who's like in.
I know where Magic the Gathering is. I never was one to do the imagination card games. I am curious. Like, one question I would have for him, and I don't know how serious he would take it, but like, do like Magic Gathering people, like, is it like Star Trek versus Star Wars with them in D&D? Like, do they hate Dungeons and Dragons people, or is it like a community where they love? I mean, are they rivals?
Only people, Trevor.
I
only
feel like
people I know who play Magic the Gathering also play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, they probably play with themselves a lot too.
I don't want to judge. I don't know. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! The anime Japanese show that's about monsters on cards and you're battling somebody's deck. This is my deck of monsters versus your deck of monsters. I played with an actual deck, and I had a card shop that I would go to and play in tournaments. So it's the same exact environment, because on Wednesday nights at this card shop, it was also Magic the Gathering night. So there was 2 different tournaments going on. The Magic the Gathering crowd is significantly different than the Yu-Gi-Oh! Crowd. Obviously, there's some people who play all of these kind of games, but there are different communities out there. The Magic the Gathering community is usually like they're really, all the guys I know who play Magic the Gathering, I'm going to say it, it's YouTube. I'm not saying it in a judgmental way. They're nerds. They're really high IQ guys who are extremely brilliant in their little niche work that they do in life, and in their hobbies, they're also super weird and smart and educated, and it's about stuff like this, Magic the Gathering. And, you know, I'm not judging. I played Yu-Gi-Oh! I have friends who play Magic the Gathering, but it is definitely its own community, and it's definitely a very niche, offset kind of community.
I don't know what you're talking about with the Japanese thing. The closest thing to a Japanese game I ever watched was Bukkake.
Pokemon's Japanese.
I don't know if that was so I don't know if that's the same thing or not, but I've never been a card game guy. I have a buddy who used to be big in the D&D stuff, and D&D was popular when I was young. But I was, the kids that played D&D were the ones that I kind of, honestly, I bullied a lot when I was a kid, because I played sports, and they're the ones I would shove in lockers, and I gave wedgies to.
Were you shoving kids in lockers and giving wedgies?
Oh, I was a total asshole as a kid. I was big. I was his only child, so I was a brat. Oh, I was a complete asshole. And I think it's good. I think it helps. I've got my ass kicked once or twice, and well deserved it. But I was a bully as a kid. I'm probably still paying for karma on that. I do apologize. There are a few moments in my day in the past that I do feel bad about. But it's come and gone. You can't do nothing about it. But the kids that played D&D were the ones that I probably were taking their lunch money or stealing their square pizza slices from back in the day. I didn't play.
Throwing all their cards on the floor and taking their lunch.
You little bitch, play a Nintendo, dude. I mean, come on. Like why are you gonna play? Ooh, let's roll the dice. What is this? Fucking, I got Mario over here, you son of a bitch. Let's do that.
My dad just sent me this random picture of me here. Can't even really see it. We got some commenters over here. Mr. Stones has commented, beat them bums so bad they spent 6 straight possessions with 8 minutes to go hunting a Frank lob. I thought that was funny. It was real belt to ass.
The only thing that Pat Kelsey did wrong in this game was not putting the walk-ons in earlier, probably. But
yeah, you could have put them in with like 3 minutes left
to play. I mean, it was.
I need an Aiden McCool bucket. I need a bucket from Aiden McCool. I don't want a free throw. I don't want a 3-pointer. I want him to put the ball on the floor and take it to the rack and one. That's what I need out of Aiden McCool before.
I still have a problem believing that Frank Antonelli is best son. I mean, the dude, I could swear was her husband. I mean, he looks like he's 45 years old.
Yeah, he looks like he's older than me.
I didn't realize that, and I love Beth. I think she does a great job on commentary. I made fun of Eric earlier, and rightfully so, but I think Beth does an awesome job. And when I remember that, I guess when I first put the two together was the Bahamas or something. I guess when he came in and I read, the son. First time I saw him, I was like, "There's no way." I was like, "That's got to be like her little brother." I mean, he looks older than she does. I mean, come on. You look older than your mom.
Shout out to Frank Antonelli. He got some minutes today. He got in. He didn't no shot attempts up for the walk-ons, but it's coming. We're gonna have a game where some walk-ons are getting some buckets. I feel like within this next stretch of games here.
I promise you, Virginia game, the walk-ons will see the floor again.
Saturday. Okay, that's what we're gonna close with, Trevor. We'll talk about Virginia this Saturday, 12 o'clock in our KFC Yum Center. As you guys can see on the background here. You got a prediction? Belt to ass again?
Yeah, I'll look forward to watching Virginia play at SMU tomorrow. I think it's at it. I can't remember where it's at. Virginia plays SMU tomorrow night. I know that. So I can look forward to watching that game, see how they both look being our next two opponents. But I mean, obviously, we've seen Virginia, firsthand already at Virginia, winning to John Paul and to beat it like a bass player from Led Zeppelin, what his name was, reference there. Slowly but surely coming out like I'm Eeyore. But as long as they want, as long as they're playing as well as they're playing right now, and even if Louisville has a one player bad game, I mean, and that's the beauty of this team right now, as we saw, especially like in the Clemson game as an example, that where Edwards and Chucky played bad offensively and Rain was bad offensively in that game. Hadley picked it up. That's the beauty of this team, the depth of this team, where like a game like tonight where everybody in the starting five was on fire. This is what you get. And sorry, Syracuse, for that. But, in most games, you're not going to have that happen. And for example, in Virginia, who knows who might have the off game. If I had to guess, I think maybe we see less of a game against Scott. I think hopefully he will play well in this game. But Virginia's a smart team that's going to do a good job cutting and keep him on his toes. So defensively, I hope he doesn't take a last. But Louisville should win this game by double digits. I have nothing in me thinks Louisville should win this game by less than double digits.
Virginia is going to get Hepburned again this Saturday. I'm feeling it as well. I think this is going to be another double-digit victory. I'm hoping. That's not just coming off of the confidence of what I just saw tonight, but a second team with your crowd behind you, or seeing a team for a second time we've already beat with your crowd behind you, and Pat Kelsey's coaching and the defensive coordinator's coaching the way that they go about coaching and game planning. I'm not really worried at all.
We've never swept Virginia since we've been in the ACC, because that was our first road win there since '91. I'm assuming to say that we've never swept Virginia since being in the ACC. Now I know we've beaten them at home since being here, but we obviously had not won there yet. So since we won there already, this will be our first sweep of Virginia, which is, I mean, you add that nice little check mark to accomplishments in Pat Kelsey's first year.
Yeah. Patino never did that. All right, Trev. Let's get out of here. Let's wrap things up here. If you got any like, subscribe, comment down below. Let us know how you guys felt about this game tonight. How you guys felt about Mr. Hepburn and those 6 threes tonight and Louisville's basketball performance. Trevor, I almost called you Chucky. I'm feeling good about this Saturday. I'm feeling good about Louisville going forward. And it's just I'll reiterate it again. Louisville basketball being back to a winning program, having majority of the games on your schedule feeling like games that you feel like you're going to win and you can win and should win. Being back to that point is just it's so huge. It's so big for me. I feel like, I feel like in my head, I wasn't even like an adult the last time Louisville was there mentally, and it's because frontal lobe hadn't developed at all. I literally probably was more so a kid. I wasn't legally a kid, but I was in a whole different person the last time Louisville basketball was like this. And it's just,
How old were you in 2017?
I was turning 19 that year.
Okay. You were at least okay. Yeah. I mean, you enjoyed your prime, which is 8, 9 to 16, 17. You got to enjoy at least
I didn't start enjoying and liking Louisville basketball until I was like 11 and 12 years old. I have no ties to Louisville basketball. Everything's my dad's from Jacksonville, Florida. My stepmom, she graduated from U of L and stuff. And her grandma, my stepmom's grandma, had season tickets the last 2 years to Freedom Hall. I got to go to games and I got to see stuff, but I liked Kobe before I liked Louisville. And
that's another issue for another day.
That's just part of it. But being in the state I'm in now about how I feel, I mean, I'm at this point, I'm a diehard. I'm just a late blooming diehard. I didn't start being a diehard till I was 14, 15, 16 years old. And a lot of the people my age were already well established into that kind of fandom. But for me, this is huge. My first game in the Yum Center was last year.
That's insane. I bring up 17 and roughly 18 because but the last time I felt like this is good about Louisville's defensively as defense as a team.
Yeah. The Trey Lewis team. The Trey Lewis team and him playing that cutthroat defense. Shout out to Trey Lewis.
And I mean, that's some of those even later Patino out. I mean, that's where I'm at Louisville with Louisville defensively, and I love it. It's such great. I have a reason to be excited. I mean, it's now we just got to look and see who Indiana's going to hire because Indiana just completely taken.
They were saying fire. I heard that they were fire. I saw tweets that they were chanting fire Woodson tonight at the game.
I mean, Illinois went all P. Diddy all over Indiana tonight.
You got diddied by Illinois. Jeez.
It was not pretty at all. I hate to tell you, Indiana fans, I told you this when you hired him. Mike Woodson was a bad hire. I hate, sometimes it sucks to be right, but I was.
The Kasparas Jukasinias kid from Lithuania, 21 points tonight. He's going to end up in the NBA, I bet.
I wonder if that's any relation to the old miscellaneous kid that played for Golden State back in the late 80s. Played from Lithuania. He was on the Lithuanian team. He was on the team when they beat us in '88 in Seoul.
It's probably his great uncle.
Quite possibly.
All right, Trev. Anything else? Any final thoughts? Anything you want to get out there to the people before we get out of here?
Fuck the Rams. Hope the Lions do win though. And that's about it. Really, not a lot since really else get into.
You're right. When's the college football playoff championship game?
Monday.
Okay, so we'll be on before that. Then we'll give our takes and feels on that. So
I would like to do something here, even if not even tomorrow. I know you got some new added responsibilities, but at worst, we're gonna do. I hope to do another post game show for Virginia.
Yeah, we'll get a post game out. Well, I'll be busy all day. Might have to be an evening post game show, but I've got Bellarmine and then
you got Bellarmine. Okay,
and then I got Southern Indiana high school basketball after that on Saturday. So it might have to be a Sunday morning post game show, or we'll figure it out. We'll definitely be on this weekend though for sure. Subscribe.
They had cover for you, but me get fired got you the job for first place.
Subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what you guys think. If you guys have any questions that you want us to, or any questions you want to ask us that you want us to address on the next live show, let us know. Tweet at us, email us, text us if you've got our numbers, DM us, whatever it is. Let us know. We'd love to address all of our listeners' thoughts because we don't really know. We know, Stones listens and stuff. We even know a few listeners, but we don't know of how many people are really listening. I'm seeing we've got Trevor. We did a lot of views on our last video. So if you guys want to address anything, any stories, anything, comment, subscribe down below, DM us on Twitter, and we'll address it. Trevor, that's going to wrap us up today. This has been The Real